It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Due Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday we were shaking the Monday morning blues with the Due Time crew, and we talked about the things that he'll do, that he's doing, that indicate that he would be a terrible husband. And we got into some conversation. Well, it started with he doesn't ever want to grow up. He doesn't want to grow up. Who can deal with a man who doesn't want to grow up? Because as we stay married, we're going to grow. We should be growing. And if we can't grow together, then there is a problem. I don't want to outgrow you. That is definitely not going to work. We talked about he thinks the world revolves around him. Well, if that's the case, you know he's going to make a terrible husband, because marriage is give and take. Marriage is about compromise. Marriage is about loving you and you loving me. If it's all about me, then guess what? Then there will never be any peace, any happiness. We really can't look forward to anything great if he's always thinking that it's about him. And here's one that really, I knew this one would spark some conversation. He's overly flirtatious with other women. Now, not only did we talk about whether he was overly flirtatious with other women, but we talked about the fact that when women are flirtatious with him, does he actually acknowledge it? Does he do anything about it? Because Pastor KL, thanks to Pastor KL, he started that thing talking about, all the women were throwing themselves at him, but he didn't know. Then how you know to talk about it? Gotcha, and gotcha. So come on. And we really had to dissect that thing. And it wasn't until the closing that God really gave me what the way we're supposed to be looking at things. Now, if the word of God says, be sober, be vigilant, because the enemy is lurking to see who he can devour, then husbands as well as wives, you have a responsibility to stay on point when these women or men are flirting with you. Because, we can't put it on her or him, it's all about your confidence. We do know that does play a part. However, we can't put it on, well, you know what, if you were more secure, then you wouldn't worry about this thing. No, you have a responsibility to protect your husband or your wife. That's your job. And you shouldn't ever have her feeling or have him feeling that you are not protecting him or you are not protecting her. You're not covering the other one. Because when you feign that you don't know and you don't you're not aware of people doing these things, then you're kind of leaving him or her out there to kind of fend for themselves. So sometimes somebody will step up and now they become aggressive because they're like, well, you're not doing nothing about it. So now there's friction in the relationship. So the enemy is winning because the enemy wants to divide. So listen, pay attention. It can get, we can't keep talking about the world says about, we don't know. No, then you know what? Then get to know. Know that it's your responsibility to know. Well, I just got the question as to who was on with us last night. For there's more to be said / let's talk about resilient living. And the topic was Are your hands clean? Pastor KL and I. Oh my goodness, what a conversation. That chat room was flying with comments. And that's the way we need it to be. That's the way God needs it to be. God needs it to be where you are in conversation about this thing that, you understand the message and the point he's trying to give you. How is it hitting you? How is the awareness kicking in for you? Yo, we really got to step up our game and understand that a pure heart, a clean heart also leads to clean hands. If your heart is dirty, then your hands are dirty, because you're going to do things, you're going to say things, you're going to think things that are not going to be clean. How do we know? Because the word of God says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. It starts in the heart. So when you speak, you then do. When you think, you then do. Your hands just don't do things. It was crazy. Pastor KL is crazy. He said God knows every number on your head, but he don't know that wig. Yo, if you were not on, you missed it. I advise you to go back and watch. And you listen, Coach for Christian Life on Facebook, A Closer Walk Christian Media Network on YouTube. I don't know where how you're getting this, but trust me when I tell you, the replay, you are going to truly enjoy. If you cannot watch, but you can listen, make sure you check us out on our podcast. Yeah, we got a podcast too that is soaring in numbers across the world. And I checked yesterday, and we are number 1 in Cambodia. So Cambodia is just smashing the United States over and over and over again. I think our top 4 was Cambodia, United States, Tanzania, and Australia. Those were our top 4 countries. So listen, you could sit here in the United States where we're residing and miss out while the world is picking up on the word of God, okay? Because it is straight no joke. So check us out on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Audible.com, what do we do? Amazon Video Podcast. We can be found on Apple Podcasts and Apple iTunes. So make sure that, again, if you can't watch, you can definitely listen. Catch up on the replay, because baby, somebody told me last night that they were going to go back and watch and take notes. So if you didn't hear it the first time, you missed out. All right. So come on. Listen, the comments in the chat room is already going off. And I bet you they're talking about last night, because I can't see that far. I haven't started looking at it yet. But trust me when I tell you, it was on and popping last night. So come on. Let's start this. Let's talk about it. Tuesday Church Folk Day. And we're not going to have our Pastor Brenda and Pastor Vinny with us today. They are out vacationing with the family. So we wish them well. We wish them a safe and happy time. So we may have a guest, we may not. But come on. Go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that It's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.
Hurt is a common hurt right now. And the reason that people get church hurt, and I've been church hurt before as well, is because the church is the one place that you think that people won't hurt you. So you put your guards down a little bit, but then you forget that people are just people. Church hurt really isn't church hurt. Church hurt is people hurt. But you can't allow hurt to dictate what God's word says to you. Just because you're hurt, you can't stop coming to church, stop obeying the word of God, stop giving, stop serving. Then you'll have no anointing and no serious breakthrough in your life. You're going to have to go to the place, and I'm going to tell you, this is where I am right now, where I actually say, God, send me the people that will hurt me. I don't mean like literally, God, send me the people that will hurt me. What I'm saying is, God, I'm okay with loving people and doing what you said as long as you're with me. If they hurt me, it's okay. You'll help me get healed from the hurt to accomplish your purposes. I wish there were more people like that. God, I don't care if it's in my life, whatever you want to bring in my life, as long as you're in it with me, I know I can handle it, and I'll know I'll be more like Jesus after it goes away. That's a crazy perspective, but it's true. Because if I didn't have that perspective, I wouldn't be able to love you and you and you, because I'd be trying to protect myself from hurt. And there are so many people, they're just trying to protect themselves from hurt. And what does that mean? That you got guard up and you can't even really be loved. So you have not opened yourself up by faith enough to actually allow people close enough for you to be hurt. So with all love, there's risk. And people don't want to take the risk because they think they're protecting themselves, but I'd rather God protect them. Church hurt is a
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to a Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it's Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Yo, shout out to that brother who broke the church hurt thing down. It is not church hurt, it's people hurt. And that's exactly why I always say, stop with this. Oh, the church hurt is the worst thing in the world. It's just a person or a set of people, a group of people that have helped hurt you. And yo, who in this world is not living through some level of hurt that someone else inflicted upon us? Well, we manage it, ain't we? Oh, yo, he just gave me some new things to add on because I'm gonna be honest. I don't have a lot of tolerance for the church hurt. I'm sympathetic and I'm empathetic. But I'm going to tell you something. They putting too much on it. As y'all say in the street, Shantice will probably talk about me in a minute. But yeah, you're just putting too much on it. Just putting too much on it because you managed to work your way through everything. Everything else in this world. I keep saying it hurt you on the job. You back to that job. You get hurt in a relationship. You don't stop dating people. No. Even if you switch sides. I've had women say, oh, the man hurt me. So now I'm dating women and they end up getting hurt by the women. Yo, cut it out. That's what I don't have tolerance for. I don't have a lot of tolerance for excuses. Get yourself up. Dust yourself off. Let God do the other dusting that you can do and move on. This church hurt thing, y'all gonna let this church hurt take you to hell. Because you're allowing that to interrupt your relationship with God. He was so right. Oh my goodness gracious. I loved it. Another great PSA, Shantice. Keep up the good work. Oh, we're going to check out Shantice in a little while because she's going to have to hang out with us this morning because Pastor Vinny and Pastor Brenda are not on. Well, if you're in the room, come on. Say good morning to Pastor Steph. So that I know, remember, if you don't check in, I don't know you're here. And I want to say good morning to all my viewers. So let's say good morning to our girl, Ketty. Good morning, Ketty. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a new name in the house, Chanel. Good morning. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning and checking in. We got to check in from our boy, Serge. What's up, Serge? Thank you. Thank you for joining us this morning. What about our girl, Lady Tamika? What's going on, girl? Listen, Tamika stayed up with us last night. Go on, girl. Do your thing. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We got a shout out from Anika who says, "Wick shots early in the AM." Yo, that thing just killed me. I couldn't laugh as much as I wanted to. Thank you, Cambodia, yes. Tanzania, yes. And Australia, yes. It's an amazing thing to sit up in your living room and God has got you in somebody else's living room or your basement or your rooftop or wherever this Due Time crew is coming from. And yet these people are seeing us and bearing witness to God's message from another country. So God is amazing. Yes, I'm with you, Anika. Oh, goodness gracious. Great PSA. Loved last night's show. All right. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you. Anika's giving a clap to the PSA. I am Colton. Good morning. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining us. We got a check-in from Miss Herlima. Good morning, Miss Herlima. Thank you. Happy New Day to you. All right. Okay. We're going to skip over Wiz Kids because I'm not trying to answer that kind of question this morning. Right now, I'm in the midst of giving God's word. I ain't taking the trivia this morning. I love you. Thank you. Hang out and pay attention to the word of God. You go find those females in the Bible for me and you come back and you let me know. All right. Thank you so much. We got to say good morning to the girl that holds it down. Good morning, and good morning to Shantice. Thank you so much. You know, I'm going to say this. To you. You know, the other night, we were talking yesterday. We were saying that Pastor KL and I were talking the other night. And I said, you know what's bad? People go and they look at one verse or a couple of verses, and then they start pouncing on those verses. Pastor KL said it one time when we were together, you know, on the air, and they run with it, but they eliminate all of the other verses that are in the Bible. And the Lord said, I am no respecter of persons. I'm just going to stop right there because there's some other ones that I can. If men were doing what they were supposed to do and taking the lead, then maybe God wouldn't have to raise up his women. Now, I'm not saying that wasn't his intent from the beginning, because that's the same argument you could make when it says, well, you know, the Jews were given God first and then the Gentiles were added because the Jews didn't do it. No, God had plans for all his people, but he started with the Jews and then added the Gentiles. So we don't know if God had that plan already, if he said, you know what, I'm going to move these people up into the spot. Either way, I know the calling on my life. I'm not defending myself to anybody. Y'all can stay over there and y'all can battle this thing. You know, I am really blessed to say that God has called me to use me as his servant. Now, where he takes me, where he wants me to be, I just got finished telling you, I'm sitting up in my home and God has got me ministering to people in Cambodia. But here's the thing. God has us ministering to people in countries where women don't even have a voice. They can't even speak. They're subservient to the men. But yet you've got an entire broadcast that is woman driven over in another country, in that type of country, and God doing his thing from here. So I just praise God for everything he does. Thank you, God, for using me. If you want me to be the president of the United States, I'm going to do that. If you just want me to be a just plain old Christian, I'm going to be that too. But right now you have me as a pastor, and that's what I'm going to do. So thank you so very much. All right. Let's talk about our trivia for today. So, you know what? We already got into our news. We already got into our news. We did. So you know what? Let's do the news, y'all. All righty. So, remember, this is an up. Wait, hold on. I think I saw some comments coming through. I want to see some comments come through. All right. I don't want to mess up our. Oh, I am Colton. God bless you. I don't know if I said that already. Yes, I did. Happy New Day from Miss Herlima. And Ketty says, that's right, Pastor Steph. Amen. Thank you so much, Ketty. All right, what are we talking about today? Update. Remember a few weeks ago when we had the snowstorm and they decided to go out in the park in Manhattan here in New York out to Washington. Not Washington. Is that Washington Park? One of those parks down in Manhattan, and had the big snowball fight. hmm And it ended up being going left because somebody started throwing snowballs and ice at the cops. I tell you, people really know how to spoil things, just some friendly fun. Well, they have arrested someone. And hmm, that's someone's name is, I can't even pronounce his last name, but I definitely want to say the name. His name is Guzman or Guzmain Colbally, and I'm just gonna call him Guzmain, and he is 27 years old. So somehow or another, they got a hold of him. Now, it doesn't quite say in this article how they ended up snatching him up, but he was there. And they said that they had a picture of him with a whole chunk of ice in his hand. So I guess that's how they ended up snatching him up. So they ended up doing the research and coming and landing on him. Now, here's the problem. He's had other little skirts with the law before. Now, there's a young lady on TikTok who's really been following this story, and she goes by the name of Stella Mags on social media, and she's saying that the NYPD blatantly lied in order to frame this Guzman. Now, Guzman has a channel, a YouTube channel where he always does like pranks and stuff like that. So because of the pranks, I think he ended up with this little skirt with the law at one point. And what they did was they arrested Guzman, and her claim is that they arrested him in order to send a message to Mayor Mamdani. Now, how the story goes is they are upset. The NYPD is upset with Mayor Mamdani because they felt that whatever happened to them on that day, he brushed it off. So he made a statement such as, well, there were a bunch of kids playing in Washington. I think it was Washington Park. And now, I don't want to press any charges, because it was just innocent play. And Washington Square Park. Yes, I'm correct. And they're mad because they're like, well, what do you mean it's innocent? What do you mean you don't want to press charges when some of us got hurt? It's amazing to me, all the people who the police officers have hurt over the years. As soon as one of them gets a little pluck, then all of a sudden the earth must stop. Movement has to stop. Yo, listen, the man said it was a bunch of kids playing. There were some adults in the melee as well. But he said, you know what? It was just too much going on. Maybe next time they'll stop it. They won't have this big, huge snowball fight, snow play, in Washington Square Park, because it got out of hand and he doesn't want anyone to get hurt. But as far as he was concerned regarding this one, he was kind of scrapping it. And in order for them to show him that they are not playing, they grabbed this, what's his name? Guzman, and they're going to arrest him. And like I said, because he had the skirts with the little law, now they're really going to say that, well, this is more likely for him to do this because he's had problems before. And they're saying that no, they didn't really have problems with him. His pranks caused problems. So I don't know, y'all. We're gonna follow this story because, these police officers, they're just so baby-fied. Yeah, I know that probably made that word up, but they're so baby-fied. They're so infantile. Yo, grow up and stop whining over everything. How y'all want to be looked at as all of this bravado and adultish behavior and decision makers? Because that's what you are. When you're a police officer, you're a decision maker, because when you get on the scene of a crime, you have to decide a whole lot of things. So how you a decision maker, but you just so whiny? Come on, stop, 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 stop. All right, we got another story. And this one here is just really, really bad. This here. So you've got this former NFL player, Deron Lee. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is not because the story itself is authentic, because I'm kind of tired of talking about certain stories. And this one got picked up by me because guess what? Last week, Vivian talked about ChatGPT. Well, guess what? As always, you bring up one story, then all the other stories seem to follow. So here's the story for this guy. So this former NFL player, Deron Lee, is being charged with his girlfriend's murder. Why? Because they were called to where he was. I don't remember the details of them, why they were called, but they were called to where she was. I think he called them. And he claims that she slipped in the tub and she's not responding, or he went to feed her or went to give her something to eat and she didn't respond. Somehow or another, Gabriella Perpetual did not respond when he was trying to get her attention or something. And when they showed up, she was dead already. So when they started doing the investigating, they found that he had looked up on ChatGPT quite a bit of information. So what did he ask ChatGPT? Well, Deron asked ChatGPT about what he should do if he found someone unresponsive. What would you do, or what should you do if you found someone unresponsive? Should you call 911, and when should you call 911? Now, he didn't admit, he didn't say I, but you're the only one in the house with a stupid, so you're just a dope, just a dope. All right, another instance. He asked ChatGPT about self-inflicted injuries. How do you basically give someone advice to cover up a crime scene? Really? Really? And you don't think these things are going to come back to haunt you? Oh, goodness. Another conversation he had, a question he had for ChatGPT. He says, how do you handle someone who is non-responsive when the friend doesn't want to call the police? Oh. So here's how ChatGPT answered. Here's exactly what to tell your friend. This is the safest way to handle it without framing it as quote unquote police trouble. He also asks, what are the physical signs of injury of slip and fall in the bathroom or the shower? You don't know they're going to check your computer, stupid. They're going to do their due diligence and their research. You the only one in the house when the police show up and they find her dead. You don't think you gonna be the prime suspect? Now, we already know that the prime suspect is always the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the husband. Yeah, we know that's the way it goes down every time. So why would you think your situation gonna be any different? Well, they also said that when the detectives questioned him, he was all over the place. All over the place. That he never gave consistent answers, that he was the one acting kind of iffy and shaky. He told them that, you know, he was sleeping for a long time before he found her unresponsive. Then he told her she was lying on the couch and asked if she wanted something to eat. And then if, you know, she didn't respond, he didn't know what to do. So he said that he thought she had slipped and fell in the tub. Well, this is only one person Only one person. How in the world all these things gonna be possible? So here's the problem. They said that he claimed that she had fell in the shower at one point, but they said that her extensive amounts of blood in different areas of that residence were inconsistent with his statements. They said the crime scene detectives also identified blood that had been attempted to be cleaned in multiple areas of the house. And they found cleaning supplies near those areas, but no visible blood. How somebody fell in the tub got blood all over the place? Why are you trying to clean up the place if she didn't fell in the tub? Leave her in the tub, let the cops come get her, or the EMTs come get her, and answer the questions as to what she was in the tub and she fell and she's unresponsive. But here's the biggest problem of them all. When they did the research on his background, they said that what made them look for his background even more is because they found that she had multiple kinds of trauma on her body. They said that she had stab wounds on her abdomen, an apparent human bite mark on her shoulder. She had a large bruise on her head, black eyes with heavy swelling, and dried blood around her face and neck. How is that consistent with a slip and fall in the tub? Then they said that they found that she had a severe brain injury and a broken neck. They said she had more stab wounds on her legs while wearing pants without cut marks. Talk about dumb criminals. So here's the logic. If she had cuts and stab wounds on her legs, but she had on pants when they got there, and those pants didn't have cut wounds in them, it meant that you stabbed her in the legs and then put her pants on. You didn't think they were going to undress her for the autopsy, you dope? I tell you. Well, they ended up doing some research after this on who he was outside of this former NFL football player. And they said that they found that he's on probation in Florida for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon in one county. He has probation in a battery case in another county. And also he's on probation in Ohio for attempted battery. Does it look like this is an innocent person at the end of the day? Oh my goodness, y'all. How do we get ourselves in this mess? So then I have to ask, she didn't do no research, huh? I don't know. All right. So we're going to send prayers up to the family of a Detroit mom who is facing serious problems because her 11-year-old fatally shoots his sibling. So they have Tanya Sharice Anise Johnson, who's facing some serious charges, like I said. She was doing DoorDash with her kids. And she had about 4 kids in the car, and they were young. They were like 4 and 6 and 11. And I think the youngest one is on the bottom of that. The youngest one on the bottom of that. I think the last one is on the bottom of that. That's what I want to say. Well, she went to drop one of the deliveries for DoorDash, and while she was in the home or walking to the home, the son got a hold of the gun. Yeah, I was right. Ranging from 2 to 11, these kids in the car. And as a matter of fact, there were 5 children in the car, alone in the car when she went to drop off this food, delivering the DoorDash. The 11-year-old son finds the gun, and that quickly, he fatally shoots his 6-year-old sister in the head. They said that the EMT arrived, but she was pronounced dead at the hospital. Now they're trying to get, the other children settled because, needless to say, mom is going straight to jail, directly to jail. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. So here's my question. You in the car, 5 of y'all are in the back, right? How long does it take for you to walk from the car to the door and back? And by the time you get back, your child is shot. How long did that take to happen? Oh, Lord. Why is there a gun in your car with your 5 kids where it's accessible to him? So I'm trying to figure out, well, where was the gun in the car? Where was the gun in the car, Mom? I don't get it. I don't get it. Somebody help me with this. Where was the gun in the car? All right. So we got these kids always in the melee. We have, one of our own who constantly talk about the kids and these trains. And did y'all see the bus in the Bronx who was in front of the building with no wheels on it? So they're trying to figure out whether it's AI or whether it's real. I don't know. But they have a set of kids. They said anywhere from 10 to 15 kids that are responsible for moving a J train. And here's the thing. When I continue to read, they said that this has been going on for a minute, but we didn't hear nothing about this. They say that there's a lot of melee going on these trains. So you got in December, some thief stole a control stick from an R train that was parked in Brooklyn. They said that they saw that there were some joyriders a month earlier who had put the train in reverse. They say that a 15-year-old was arrested in the Bronx after showing up to school with a backpack full of MTA gear and credentials, including multiple transit walkie-talkies, train keys, and other tools. And they say they think he was a part of a teenage crew that gained notoriety in January for breaking into some R trains and then moving the train at 30 miles per hour in a part of Brooklyn, section of Brooklyn. My question is, where these things coming from? Is there somebody who's working for you who gave that kid access? How does that kid have access to MTA gear and credentials, including multiple transit walkie-talkies, train keys, and other tools? How do you even get that close to MTA gear? How does that even work? I don't even know. I don't even know how that even works. How you would even be exposed to something like that. Tamika, it's funny because I thought about the glove compartment because I'm like, all right, there were 5 kids, right? So she probably put the oldest one in the front to ride with her, seatbelt the other ones in the back, and had that gun in the glove compartment. And that's how he got to it so quickly. I'm in agreement with you. Oh, Serge said in regards to the kid with the all the walkie-talkies and the keys and the tools that the kid stole it. But then what, isn't it under lock and key, Serge? Why, I'm not saying you the one that, left it out, but I'm just saying, how could somebody steal something, walkie-talkies, tools, and other things? This stuff is not locked up somewhere. I don't get it. All right, let me talk to my girl Shantice, because Every day I am so perplexed by this news. Let's say good morning to Shantice. Good morning, Shantice.
Good morning. How are you, Pastor Steph?
I am well, thank you. I am well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All righty. Well, mm, I want to talk about some of these things we got going on here in the news.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if I want to talk about that one. Let's go to, oh, I'm going to say that one till last because I feel like that particular story is going to be the one like we had a couple weeks ago with the pastor going to the
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's talk about the kids in the car
Mm.
and the 11-year-old who got a hold of the what do you call that? The gun and shoots his sister. Mm.
Hmm. I think it was in the middle console.
Oh, oh, wow!
Compartment.
I feel like we're playing a game of who done it.
I don't think people are even. I think people are too lazy to even lean over to put it in the glove compartment. It's like right in the middle console. Was silly enough to either let her son see her put it there, or because it's the middle because kids don't go in glove compartments. They'll go in that middle console because there might be money, there might be candy, you know, there might be, you know, little knickknacks like that the kids want or need. But parents don't typically put items in the glove compartment that a kid may, you know, want to look for. Back in the day, like when I was a kid, yeah, that was a thing because middle consoles weren't a thing when I was a kid. But nowadays, my question was also, if you're doing DoorDash, if you feel like your life is on the line while doing DoorDash, so you need a gun in a car, why are your kids with you?
Oh,
if I feel like I need protection while I'm doing DoorDash, then why? I wouldn't do DoorDash with my kids in the car anyway. That's that constant stopping, getting in and out the vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to keep getting in and out the car with even an 11-year-old? Even if it was just me and my 11-year-old. Forget even if younger ones weren't in there. My niece is 11. I'm not driving anywhere and getting out the car and leaving her. I don't care where I am. I can't even see me doing that in front of my house. On the block that I grew up on. I'm gonna run in the house real quick. You stay here. What? No. No. So even with that just shows such a high level of negligence that she's probably accustomed to doing anyway with 5 kids. And you got this 11-year-old growing up so quick, you figure you old enough to watch after the other ones while I go run and do this real quick. And now he done shot the baby in the head. That is crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So you knew that gun was there. You had enough time to get that gun, play with it. I can't even imagine what the other babies sat there. You know, like what?
Yeah, they're talking about, you know, trying to get the kids settled so they can get them some trauma counseling. Because, you know, thank God the baby that's 2, you know, won't know anything pretty much, but definitely the other children will. Let's see what Pastor KL has to say about this thing here with the gun in the car. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies. How you doing?
Okay, thanks. How are you?
I'm leaning on Jesus this morning. I'm so tired.
If you would stop talking about people's wigs, then you wouldn't have to worry about being tired. Oh my goodness. So we got this story of the mom who's doing DoorDash, and she leaves the 5 kids in the car as she's making these stops. And when she got out at one point to deliver a meal, her 11-year-old got access to a gun and shot his 6-year-old sister in the head, and she passed away. And my question was, hey, how do we even get this far? How do you, in a matter of minutes, he has access to the gun? That's how quickly this thing jumped off. I don't know. Now, Tamika says that the gun was probably in the glove compartment. And I said, that's one of the things I thought about. Shantice is adding the console. I feel like we're trying to do like a whodunit, like figure out the little details of the murder mystery. What's your thought? Is he still there?
Yes.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I have a couple of thoughts. One thought is, why you take your 5 kids to work with you?
Right.
That's the first thought.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Even if a child is 11, listen, let's just be honest. In our days, 11 years old, we stayed home by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have to trip that with mama and dad at 11 years old. You didn't answer the phone and you didn't open the door. Those are the 2 rules. You know what I mean? So they could have been home with the 11-year-old. Second, I'm thinking that the gun had to be very, very accessible. It might have even been on the floor, or you know what I mean? If within minutes, it could have been on the seat. I mean, because within minutes, you went into the glove compartment, you went into the armrest. I mean, it had to be somewhere right there.
Right,
and then the 11-year-old had privy to it. He or she knew where it was.
Mm-hmm,
this wasn't the first time. It wasn't like, oh my God, I found a toy. No, that person knew that there was a gun there, and they knew where to go to get it.
Right. And that's pretty evident, which is why I'm like, how in the world would you possibly be able to access this gun so fast from the moment you then got out the car, walked to the door, and came back, and the child is already gun in hand and another baby shot? Like you said, he knew. It's almost like you can envision he was waiting for her to get out the car.
Yeah.
Right.
And as soon as she got out the car, I was like, oh, let me get the gun. Let me get this gun. And
that 6-year-old pissed him off. Did something.
Oh gosh, you going all the way there?
Yeah. Shot her in the head. Do you know? You got to have some type of rage to shoot him in the head. You wasn't just trying to put a in the leg or in the arm. You wanted to kill him.
So let me look at this here. I want to see if they say she was shot in the head. It says he accidentally shot and killed his 6-year-old sister. Pastor Cal, you done made this. We got to go be the detectives for real now.
We all accidentally do things.
I was just about to say.
Oh my gosh!
You think the 11-year-old is going to admit now, I wanted to kill Shaquita? No, we all accidentally shoot somebody.
Oh my God!
But all of them weren't sitting in the back. So if more than likely the 11-year-old is in the passenger seat, more than likely you found the gun in the front of the car with you.
Right,
so you can pick the gun up and you turn around to aim it at who or what.
I just didn't even consider that it was intentional.
Since Pastor KL brought it up, this is what's playing in my head right now. Because again, as the older one, I'm in the front. Even if I'm 5 and everybody else 2, I'm in the front. The gun more than likely is in the front. So even if I want to play with it, why am I turning around like that? Even if I did it to scare, not to necessarily shoot, but I turned it around to maybe scare you. But then the accident came when the gun went off. But it wasn't no accident that the gun was aimed in the back, in my opinion.
See, this is why the jury is so hard. This jury deliberation, man, when people talking about all of this, Wow, wow,
Listen, you are
wow.
the reason why I can't have the big piece of chicken. I'm tired. For a long time, it was just me. It was just me for a long time. And then you came. So no, I can't get the candy
Mm,
because I got to share the candy with you. The other ones are too small to ask, or to argue with me. So I got to argue
mm,
with you. So I got to get the middleman out the way. It's
mm,
going to take a couple of years before little Donnie, grow up. Yeah, it's for real. I need you out the way.
mm. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I ain't gonna fight with y'all because you never know. Hey, you never know. Going backwards. Well, Teddy says she was shot in the head, and Serge says he's going back to the train conductors. I mean, I'm sorry, the J train thieves and the R train thieves and the equipment thieves and all of this. He says sometimes workers lose their equipment and get it stolen while going to work and stolen out of the train when we have door issues with the train. Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, that answers as to,
Why are you
what,
traveling equipment?
no, no.
I trained
That's
them.
that was one of my questions.
Why are you traveling with?
All walkie-talkies. This is plural. He
Who
was
we
found with
talking to outside of
walkie-talkies
the
and all kind of things. So I'm like, yo, somebody was negligent. Big time. All right, y'all. We got this story, and I feel like this story is going to take the path. Oh, wait, somebody made a comment. I don't want to go no further. Tamika says the 11-year-old shot the other child because he felt that was mom's favorite child. Possibly. Again, this is the jury pool here. All y'all introducing all of these things that I didn't even think of. Wow, wow, wow. Tamika, now she enters another possibility. Now he's mad because she's the favorite. Wow. Well, she's favored. Oh my goodness. Woo, child. I guess it'll come out. It'll come out. It'll come out today, tomorrow, somewhere, but it's gonna come out. All righty. So we got this former NFL player, Deron Lee, who consulted ChatGPT when he killed the girlfriend, because that's exactly what this ended up being. It is just a bunch of stupidity going on here. So he calls the cops when the girlfriend is quote unquote unresponsive. When they get there, she's dead. Then all the stuff starts coming out when they start asking questions and they start looking around the apartment and they start doing some digging. So one of the reasons why this one fell on my radar was because thanks to Vivian last week with the Chat GPT, he consulted Chat GPT, asking Chat GPT a few questions. And one of the questions he asked was, without admitting he did anything wrong, he inquires, what does it look like when injuries are self-inflicted? He asks for a legal advisor. He asks for ChatGPT to basically give him advice on how you cover up a crime scene. Oh Lord. And he then asks ChatGPT another question about if a friend how would a friend handle someone non-responsive when the friend doesn't want to call the police? And they even have a response from ChatGPT where it says, here's exactly what to tell your friend. This is the safest way to handle it without framing it as quote unquote police trouble. And he asked for physical signs of injury of a slip and fall in the bathroom or the shower. They then say that they walked around the apartment. They saw all kinds of blood everywhere. They said extensive amounts of blood in different areas of the residence that were inconsistent with his statement, because he landed on, she slipped and fell in the bathtub. So now they find extensive amounts of blood all over the place. They also find the crime scene. Detectives find blood that had been attempted to be cleaned in multiple areas of the house. They found cleaning supplies near those areas, but no visible blood. So you didn't even have enough sense to move the evidence. They said in body camera footage that they said that he claimed he was sleeping for a long time before he found her unresponsive. He said he saw her lying on the couch and asked if she wanted anything to eat. And when she didn't respond, he then called 911. They said that he claimed that those two things happened. The thing with the food and she was sleeping on the couch, or she fell in the bathtub. But they found that she had stab wounds to her abdomen, an apparent human bite mark on her shoulder, a large bruise on her head, black eyes with heavy swelling, and dried blood on her face and neck. They said that they found that she had a severe brain injury and a broken neck. She had more stab wounds on her legs, despite the fact that the pants she had on did not have stab wounds in the pants. There had no cut marks in the pants. So when they saw all of this, and they decided to look up his history, they found several things. So I'm going to come back to that, because this here, wow. Okay. So Serge is back to the train thing. He's answering. We travel with our equipment because we go to different locations to work in the beginning of our time at the MTA or promotion. We don't have set locations until we're able to pick a set location. Okay, so that explains why they travel with their stuff, Shantice. Thank you, Serge, for helping us understand that. All right. Oh, my goodness. What are we talking about here, y'all? Shantice, you got first dibs on this one.
Who doesn't know? The people who are locked up know that these phones keep track of everything. These devices keep track of everything. So you didn't bother to watch First 48 or nothing. You just gonna go to ChatGPT and ask, who would want to know how do you tend to someone who's unresponsive if you don't want to call the cops? If ain't nothing happened. You not calling the cops as soon as it happened is already going to get you into trouble, even if she did fall by herself.
Right.
That already makes you look sus, dummy. If she innocently fell, why would you not call? The only people who don't call is
all the guilty.
Right, the ones who have committed the crime or the ones who have been doing something with them and now they're scared. So like all the teens that get high together and one ends up ODing, now they don't want to call the cops. So I ain't make you take these drugs, but then if I call the cops and let them know what happened, now I don't get in trouble because I was taking drugs too. Those are the only two types that are too afraid. But if I had nothing to do with you taking a bath and I come and find you, why am I not calling the authorities? You went and what again, like last week? Y'all thinking ChatGPT, he ain't God, it ain't gonna hold your secrets. See, on your repentance, God may just deal with you privately, and it don't have to spill out into the world. It doesn't have to be made public. But a lot of the times, as long as when he touches you and convicts you, you feel that conviction and you go to him humbly, he's gonna deal with you privately. It does. Most of the time it gets made public when you ignore the private correction. Now he has to correct you publicly. ChatGPT ain't holding your secret. The second somebody goes and taps into that, it just tells all your history. And then you'll probably archive the responses. You can do that in ChatGPT. You can save the responses that you when you speak to it, when you ask the question. This is just, I can't even imagine after hearing the injuries I can't even imagine how that how she was. That sounds brutal. You
Yeah.
put me on the
It
shoulder.
sounds brutal.
My eye is swollen. You broke my neck. It's like, what? What happened first? Like, it's just like, oh my gosh, that is scary.
This is deep. This is deep.
Yes.
This is deep. Pastor KL, what we talking about here?
He wasn't a very good football player because he fumbled this whole thing.
Yeah.
Everything was fumbled.
Yeah.
He wasn't very good. It's almost like my wife is getting on my nerves. And I go to Facebook and say, hey, how do you poison a wife? Asking for a friend. You know how people say stuff and they always say, asking for a friend? But they want all this information. This is ridiculous.
Right.
This is totally ridiculous. You're going through all this stuff and you're asking for a friend. All these scenarios. So how do I do this? What happens if this? But you're asking for a friend and think it's not going to come back to you?
Right.
This is crazy, crazy, crazy. You are not that bright. And unfortunately, you make us look bad. You know what I mean? Because you don't know how to kill properly. You don't know how to kill and clean it up. You know what I mean?
You leave the cleaning products there. Yo, you are stupid.
You are a real Pookie. You're a real Pookie. Because David would not have done that, but Pookie would have.
Wait, who wouldn't have done it?
David wouldn't have done it. David would have cleaned everything up. You know what I mean? But when you name Junebug and Pookie, you know, you have no clue.
Yeah, Junebug and Pookie never have a plan.
Oh my God. I was reading this last night and I was like, you can't be serious. You just can't be serious. Not only that, you have all of these questions and these scenarios as to how she died, right? So you claim she died, slip and fall in the tub. You claim she died while she was sitting on the couch, and when you asked her, you had slept for a long length of time, and when you asked her, did she want something to eat, she didn't respond. So that kind of made you a little nervous. All right, so here's my thing. You didn't think they was going to see the stab wound in her stomach, the black eyes, the head trauma? You didn't think the cuts on the stab wounds in her leg? Did you think that these things were going to disappear?
Look how light she is. If you plucked her, that was going to show.
Can you imagine the black and blue marks all over this woman? You would have done better. You would have done better saying, I came home and found her like this.
Right.
And tossed some stuff up in the apartment.
Right. Kick the door open, break the window.
Right. You would have done better making it look like this was a break-in and this is what they did to her during the break-in. Ain't no way in the world you got fallen in the tub, sitting on the couch and died in her sleep, but yet she's got all these physical things going on. That's the part that really got to me. When I read that she had multiple kinds of trauma to her body, stab wound to her abdomen, human bite mark on her shoulder, large bruise on her head, black eyes with heavy swelling, and dried blood on her face and neck. All did the shower stab her?
They had hard water.
She fell asleep. She fell asleep and died on the couch. Then got up, took a bath, and then slipped and fell in the shower, and got all the lacerations and everything on her leg. That was a mean. What do they put? Like the shower mats?
Yeah.
Shower mat that you done fell on. That cut your body up like that, made you break your neck, gave you blue eyes on both eyes. You know, wow. No plan at all. Yeah, that there. And then they found
where you had cleaned up blood. They found all the evidence with the cleanup products there. Yo, you know what? This was somebody who went from grammar school to the football field.
Yep.
You're one of them stupid jocks. Because if you couldn't work your way out of this one, the first thing came to my mind was, listen, I'm pretending somebody else did this. I'm pretending somebody else did this. Because I don't want anybody to think that I did this. I don't know, y'all. This here. And I thought the same thing, Pastor K. I was like, yo, really? You got to look like this? Dang! You could, but see, you ain't gonna be the group that run over the man and they gonna let you walk off. That ain't happening. That's not happening with you. That is not happening with you.
And you're going down for the lie. It's because the lie was stupid.
Yes.
You're gonna be able to replace ChatGPT, the detectives with ChatGPT soon. ChatGPT is gonna be able to, because they consulting ChatGPT for everything. They're not going to be detectives.
Yep. Katie said she killed herself. That was the kicker. All right, Shantice, you kind of brought up some. No, was it KL? One of you brought up. Who brought up God?
It was one of them.
Who brought up God? Shantice. You know, God will keep your secrets for you.
Oh.
You know, that conversation came up one day that, you know, sometimes God will allow, and Pastor Kel has said this here on a couple of occasions, how God he won't do certain things because there'll be more damage than good if he exposed certain things. Now I'm gonna start, you introduced this, Shantice, but I'm gonna give this to Pastor KL to kind of continue. Let's push this conversation because this is an important point that we need to pull out today.
Well, like I always say, a lot of times we think we're getting away with certain things that we know is not of God. And the crazy part about it is that we're in positions, biblical positions, preachers, evangelists, stuff like that. But, I often say that God will not expose you because of the people who are following you. And though he has already lost you, think about how many more people he will lose once people find out who you really are. So sometimes God will keep you in order to be able to save the other folks. But you ain't making it to heaven. You ain't getting in, but I'll use you in your dumbness, you know what I mean, for the rest of my people.
So Shantice, you weren't necessarily talking about leaders. What would you like to add to this? Because there's a story that I had that kind of segues into this point.
The importance of understanding that confession. I was just reading something this morning. I didn't get a chance to finish reading. It was speaking on like when you slip, yes, that means you've sinned, but it's not your lifestyle. You've fallen today. And in order to get back up, you have to go to God, confess, repent. And it doesn't mean you'll never slip again. Meaning it doesn't mean you'll never sin again, but it's not a continued life.
Right, it's not your lifestyle. Right.
And because you've gone to God and you've confessed, you're like, God, I don't want to do this anymore. That's what helped for there to be bigger and bigger gaps in between the offenses to God, in between you committing that. And it really spoke to me because I was talking to God about something last night. And, a lot of times we fight and battle with ourselves. The more we learn about that with God, because you learn to let God convict you, also at the same time learn to give yourself grace in Jesus. And you got to learn to have that balance. But if you don't, when God makes you feel like when he brings it to your awareness that you did something wrong, and instead of you falling into that feeling and going to God and confessing, I don't care if you got a boo-boo, your nose is drooling, whatever, when you go to him and you ask him for his strength and his help, and you are really apologetic and you really put your best foot forward to go in the opposite direction of that sin, he can correct you in that private time. And no one else has to know about that. But the more, and it has a lot to do with what you two pastors kept bringing up last night as well. When you don't allow God to correct you in that private time, a lot of times you then pull a lot of people into your sin, and it gets made public anyway.
Right.
So basically, God isn't making it public, but now you keep, because your sin is so much more repetitive, and you're not gonna keep sinning by yourself. No drug addict does drugs by themselves. No alcoholic drinks by themselves. No sexaholic has sex by themselves only. A lot of times you end up pulling people, even if it's once a week, once a month, once a year, you pull people in. So you're making it public anyway. Now he has to correct you publicly, because now he has to show others that this is not what he approves of, especially if you're straddling the fence. So you're telling people and showing people, yeah, I'm for God, yeah, I'm for him, yeah, he's my savior, my personal savior, I've accepted him, but yet you seem to be doing these things with no problem. No, we can, now he has to let it be known, I ain't got nothing to do with this. So now I got to show people I ain't got nothing to do with this, and the only way to really show them is to correct you publicly.
Yeah, this here, you can make a bad situation worse. Right. Where God is, he wants to give you a level of mercy, because like Pastor KL said, and I honestly believe that, because we've talked about this in service, God will cover what you've done, because his concern is for the mass, the masses. His concern is not just about you. His concern is about the masses. So he, a lot, and go back to Moses, when God wanted to smash the Israelites for their disobedience. And Moses said, God, you can't do that, because see, the other nations, all they've ever seen is the nation of Israel is covered and favored. And they have all of this, available to them. And, they look like this and they look like that. And yet, if you go smash them, it'll look like you failed. It'll look like you are not the God of promise. It'll make it look bad for you. So that's why God has to cover the entire thing. But when you push God's hand, God's like, listen, that don't matter to me no more. Because it's not about how I look. Because I ain't got to worry about my reputation in that sense. Now, I need to handle and deal with you. So a lot of times we force God's hand into things that we could have just kind of eased our way out of. And when we fail to see the exit door, there you go. When you fail to see the exit door, the word of God says there is no temptation that is uncommon to man, but that God would not give a way out. There is always an open door, always an open window that God will allow you to go through, but you are the one who will not go through, and you will rather stay and mess up the situation and make that situation worse. So here we are now, where God would have just kind of said, well, you know what, I'll deal with you in private. Now you're just exposed and you looking nasty in front of everybody. So here's the story that we...
Buckle up. Pastor Steph is about to lose her mind. You hear over there? Buckle up, buckle up, buckle up. She's about to go. She's about to go.
Oh, goodness gracious. Now let me get out. I'm still coming off of last night. I'm still going to be good. Shut up.
The
residue. Yes, the residue. So we have this pastor in California who has been accused of pushing one of the elderly members down the steps.
What?
Yes. Now, I watched the video and I really couldn't tell personally. You know, so someone else in the church or an attorney or somebody got a hold of the video and they put it out on social media to expose him. And I can't tell, for me, that it was just an outright shove, because the allegation is he shoved, and you see her fall. Oh, you see her fall. She goes down. She goes, and it's not a whole lot of steps, but it's some, like, it looks like some stone or concrete steps. And she goes down and she lands like she's laid out on the bottom of the stairs. Now, the problem is he's claiming he did not do it. He claims that there was some rules he wanted to put into place. And when the powers that be in the church, these heavy hitters in the church, did not agree, they went back and forth. And after a while, they decided to scar his name and make these allegations, but he didn't do it. And I was reading it and just kind of scouring this article, because I had it from last week. And I'm like, well, why would you push her down the steps? Why would you have pushed her down the steps? That part never came up until the very end, when he says, no, you know, this is the explanation why his name is out there. So he doesn't really say he didn't do it. He says that this is the battle that's going on, and this is how his name got out there. So I'm wondering if this is now you being exposed, because looking at the video, he could have pushed her, because it doesn't look like she necessarily fell on her own, because it looked like it was some kind of, her body movement looked like it could have been, you know, somebody behind her who just kind of shoved her lightly or hard. But again, this is what happens when you got a whole lot of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens when there's a whole lot of melee going on in the church with the pastor and these board members or these people who put a whole lot of money in the church, and now they're not agreeing with what you're doing. And now you claim now somebody put your name out there. But so now half the church believes it and half the church does not believe it. So he claims that there was a vote taken and most of the members voted to keep him in place. Is there a danger point here, in your opinion, Pastor KL, for this church, for this congregation?
Well, first of all, I always say, you know, if God called you to a place or to a position, how can people vote you in and out? How can man vote you in and out?
Okay.
God,
okay.
God is the one who's giving the calling, not man. Not man. And then God gives you a sheep. And if you're the sheep, you can't tell me what to do.
Right.
Because everything that I get is from God. Now, especially if you have the family churches, and Susie want to lead prayer and worship and can't sing, and if you tell Susie she can't do it, then the family's in an uproar. So now the family's gonna say, well, this is what's happening, that's what's happening. So I mean, you get yourself in a tight position. You know, again, there's a lot of sectors who's able to vote you in and out. I can't be a part of that, because as soon as I preach on your sin, then I'm in trouble. Then you know, he's talking about me. Yeah, I'm talking about you. No, I'm sorry, God's talking about you.
Right.
You know, you mad because God is exposing your sin. Now, he didn't call you by your name, but he called you by your sin. Now, what you want to do? I
like that. Wow. You talk about me? You talk about me? Nah. No, it's very true. I like that. He didn't call you by name, but he called you by your sin. And that to me is always the key when people talk about, I felt like you were talking about me up there. And I'm like, I was. If it's you,
Right.
if it's
Right.
you, if
Right.
the shoe fits, wear it. Why am it's almost like when people say, and I'm going to say it, when people say, all black people are just niggas. I ain't offended. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not offended. Why? Because I might be black, but I ain't a nigga.
You kind of privy to the word person.
I don't take it personally.
Right.
Because I understand that there are black people who act like niggas. I understand that there are white people who act like niggas. I understand that there are Hispanic people who act like niggas. So, that person who's making the statement is the ignorant one. I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm not defending anything. So why is it that when the Lord speaks to you from the pulpit, you all twisted? I'm sorry, if you need to say ouch, then you need to say ouch. What do you want? What do you want from me? That's between you and God at this point. Shantice, is there a danger in this whole situation now? You've got half the church that's voted him in, half the church that's voted him out. And now you don't really know whether he really pushed the woman or not. Or you got half the church that says, okay, he pushed her, but I understand. You got the other church. You got the other part of the church. I'm like, yo. Then you got the other part of the church that goes, no, that's unacceptable. This is a man of God. He's supposed to be our leader. Is this church in a danger zone right now?
All right, I got a few things that come to mind. One, I just watched the video. He pushed that lady.
Okay.
I just watched it. He pushed that lady. It looked like there was some type of conversation or back and forth already. She was trying to get back in the church and trying to close the door, but she kept opening it, and he stepped out a little and pushed her.
Okay, that's a different video. Okay.
Yes, I was about to ask, well, was this planned? Because who took a video? But it looked like a camera.
The camera, right.
So, okay, so that stopped a few of the heart palpitations, because I was like, well, who planned this for someone to know to cue count? Where is her family? Because I don't care who voting what. You push my grandmother, or there's word that you push my grandmother. We gotta worry about whether you in or out, because the church, there's no more church. That's it.
Oh my.
Down.
Ernie ain't gonna let you push her. Ernie ain't gonna let you push her.
No,
So,
Ernie ain't gonna
Hey, Pastor KL, you told her to go ahead, Shantice, and this is what she comes up with. Girl, she's tearing the church down.
How there's time for a vote, and the vote is whether someone put their hands on an elderly person or not. Not who brought in the nasty chicken. Not who left the heater or the AC on while everyone left, so now it's broke while we in it. Not that. Who put their hand? Did the pastor put his hands on an elderly person? Where is the family? Then it's how are we sitting voting about whether, in addition to, because I'm the same way. How are the parishioners able to say who we're going to teach me or not? We don't get to choose professors or teachers in school. We go to school, and that's who's already in front of us. And we trust that they've been to school in order to teach us what's in these textbooks. We don't vote Professor Jones in or out. We don't. So that's always been dumb to me. And again, I'm trying to envision myself sitting on this board, and it's all in favor for impeaching Pastor Jones for pushing Elder Ray downstairs. Raise your hand. Like what? Like what? Are we not dealing with the foundation of the because my thing is, if we're dealing with the actual incident, it wouldn't have to be a vote as to whether he stays or not.
Right. Because that's a crime. It's a crime.
You cannot sit here, and you're not about to stand up at this pulpit in front of me, sir, and there may be a high chance that you pushed anyone, let alone an elderly woman down the steps. anybody, a toddler, someone with one leg, anybody. And you're standing in front of me to say what? Other than confessing. What are you going to stand up and say in front of me? What benediction are you giving? What verse are you pointing me to? Or you're reading to me? And in the back of my mind, they're voting as to whether you actually push this woman or not. I think because there's so much put into voting, no one is actually paying attention to the fact that there's a problem here. Because it's just we get to dictate who's here and who's not. That's where the focus is. That's where the excitement is. I get to vote. I get to have a say as to whether who's here or not, when you shouldn't have a say in the first place. This is just crazy. Especially, so no one watched this video?
They did. They did. That's what I was saying to you. It ended up being, I know I saw him push her, but I understand. Because there weren't in the article that I read, there weren't a whole lot of people who didn't say, or who did say, like I said. I could from what I was looking at. Now the video that you described, that's not the video I saw. You describing a whole lot more activity. All I saw was a man, the pastor standing in the doorway with his robe on, and she went flying down the steps. I didn't see this back and forth with the doorknob and all this kind of stuff. So the people have admitted that they saw it, but now the church is divided. Some people say, I vote to keep him. And some people say, no, he's got to go because that offense is abominable. It's unacceptable. He's got to go. So that's why I said, this has put the church in a level of turmoil. And I'm with Pastor KL. You are not going to tell me that where in the Bible is it written that all of this stuff goes on? This is the way of the world. This is how churches have now put these bylaws and things in place to say that, we hire you. How many times have we heard some deacon or board member say, well, you know what, we hired you. You're just a hired person here. We've heard that often in movies and TV shows. We've heard that, and maybe in real life. And that's their concept, that we put you in place. We hire you, we pay your salary. And, if it weren't for us, you wouldn't be here. So therefore, when we're ready for you to go, you're going to have to go.
Yep.
And that is not biblical. You don't have the authority to do this thing here. So right when you are already approached, well, you know what, Pastor KL, we're looking for a new pastor, and here's how this is going to go, because this stuff is not brought to you at the last minute. This is introduced to you from the inception. Upon it, in the inception of it, all of this stuff is put out there, and they are letting you know we're going to pay your salary, and we're going to let you, this is how much say you have, and this is how much say you don't have, and blah, 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 blah. And this is why you have this division. And I agree with you 100%. If he pushed her down the steps, this is a crime. Period.
He pushed her down the steps and stood there and watched her land.
That's the part I had a problem with. Because the video that I saw, like I said, you couldn't tell whether he really pushed her or not. But she went, and as she's laying at the foot of the steps, he never moved. That's why it gives inference. He did. He stood at the top of the steps.
Yes.
So that gives inference that he did push her, because if she fell, maybe because she lost her balance, or maybe because you two were going back and forth with the door and it was not your intent, you running down the steps. You wouldn't run down the steps for anybody, much less an older person. You're like, oh my gosh, so you fell down the steps, you going down the steps, you're going to try to help them up. Now, I might take a minute to get down the steps, but I'm going to go down the steps. I'm going to help you up.
Listen, what y'all don't look at too. So the half of the people voted to keep her because they knew Gertrude. And they knew Gertrude was a pain in the neck. They knew Gertrude was a pain. And they've been waiting for somebody to push her down the steps.
That's what I was thinking, Pastor Kale. I was like, so whose child was she in there reprimanding? And they said, I'm tired of her always checking my child in here during service and all that. And now it's just like, oh, well, I wasn't too fond of her no way. So I ain't telling to push her. But, you know, if this is her way out, then this is her way out. Because she ain't going to want to stay here. Yeah,
That's why I said to you, half the church is probably saying, yeah, I know, but I understand. I wouldn't have been the one to push her, but I understand. And that's why the church is divided, because there's nowhere in the world and it's bad, because that's the way it looks. It really has that appearance, which is why I said that, made that statement. It has that appearance that, because who knows anyone to push an elderly person and you're not just annoyed, mad, offended for the person. You know what I'm saying? That you're like, no. You would, if your landlord pushed, your an elderly person down the steps. You know what I'm saying? If the professor pushed an elderly person down the steps, if a stranger pushed an elderly person down the steps, you're in an uproar. But for you to actually see the video, see him push her down the steps, don't go to her aid when she gets to the bottom of the steps, and then you gonna vote that he stays? That says a lot. That's why I ask, is the church in a level of turmoil now? Because there's something wrong here.
Terrible.
There's something wrong. There's something wrong here. Pastor KL, how do you move forward? If you were in this church, how do you move forward? How should we move forward, in your opinion?
As pastor or parishioner?
Parishioner.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on which side you're on. I mean, because
I'm talking about you.
Well, me, I'd have to leave the church. Me personally, because that's not someone. If he intentionally pushed someone down, that's not someone I want to sit under. That's a dangerous place to be. You didn't lay hands on them suddenly. You know what I mean? That's not where I want to worship at. Because at any point, if I say or do, first of all, you have no emotional intelligence. So your emotional is not intact. So at any time, something raises up in you, you got to forget that you got the robe on. You've already stained the garment. You stained the garment that you're wearing. So now I have to see you as my leader, because right now, because of your God, you're my leader. But you're acting like we're in the street. You ever have your child come up to you, in your house and talk to you like we're in the street? Right. No, we can't do that. We can't do that.
Shantice, where are you as a parishioner?
I was going to say the exact same thing. I'm not there. Because what you just showed me is anybody can get it. And before now, they got to determine what my fate is after I done put hands on you, because you done pushed my grandmother or my mother down and just looked at her at the bottom of the steps like she was some stray dog. I need to exit stage left. After I tell everybody else who's staying how sick in the head they are. And I'm out. Because that and I definitely would. You think I'm getting up there to do praise and worship or something, and I'm making my PSA and I'm out the door. Because that is just disgusting. It is nothing less than disgusting for you to sit in there while this is a debate. Because you're not going to sit in there to really try to make a difference. You're going to sit in there and blindly let this blind man lead you, blind man. And the verse says it. You then get led into a pit. So this is no different. This is worse than being in the street. Because you ain't going and sitting up under anybody in the street who done did this.
Right.
you even heard did this. Even if you heard it, you had to see no footage. There was no surveillance. There was no nothing. It wasn't no shade room, no nothing. Just the fact of you hearing this, like, oh, they push old people, and I'm always with my grandma. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. You're not
She said, oh,
going
they
there,
push
or you're
old
not
people.
staying there. So why in the church is this okay? I don't understand. Why, no, I saw Pastor KO use the same exact. I want to say the same thing. I'm not staying. Me and my grandma, we out. We out.
Hey, Pastor Steph, I have a question for you.
Yes.
You often say that you have a young people's congregation. Is this the very reason why there's no old folks in your church? You pushing folks down the steps?
Well, wait, who are we doing
Yeah,
the
they pushing me. They pushing me, Pastor KL. Especially the leading to Shantice and Tamasia. They the first to push. They pushing me first. That's why there's no old people in the church. Because God won't let me go down and stay down. I keep coming back. I keep coming back to haunt them.
You just
Y'all ain't getting rid of me so easy.
Sit down.
Oh my goodness. My due time crew, thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. And we pray you have a blessed day.
You as well. You as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, how we get here. How do we get here? Where do we go from here? You know, how do we get here? Where do we go from here? What are the signs that it's time for you to break out? As they used to say in the street. And the time for you to break out is now. Now, here's my thing. Like I said, you know, for me, the visual of him actually pushing her, that I couldn't really tell whether it was actually a shove. I saw her tumble down the stairs. But the problem came for me when she was at the foot of, remember I told you she just was sprawled out at the foot of the steps, and he just stood at the top of the steps. So that gives inference that you had something to do with her falling, because why wouldn't you go to her rescue? Like Shanti said, even a stray dog would have gotten, you know, your attention. And you really need to check yourself. So as a parishioner of that particular body, I have to leave, because my question is, if you did not push her, why wouldn't you go to her aid? How could you speak into my spiritual life when you are not helping to take care of my physical life? My physical life, you're looking right at. My physical life, you can see. I'm an elderly woman. Anything could have happened when I went down those concrete steps, because they were concrete steps. So you actually standing here looking at me, is that how you're handling my spiritual life? Are you just looking at me and you got raised eyebrows and you're not helping me, or, you know, showing me that you care? You know, you stand on the platform of, you know, I wanted to implement some rules and some changes because there were things that I saw that I didn't like. And, you know, once I started mentioning those things, then, you know, the church started warring up against me, especially the people, you know, who are higher up, who, you know, really have something to say. And, you know, because they couldn't, you know, do anything with me, you know, now they put my name out there and now they're scarring my name. But that was you standing at the top of them steps. So even if that piece is true, or if that piece is not true, you let her lay at the foot of the steps, which makes your intent, your heart, your spirit, your purpose questionable. And if I am under questionable leadership, then it's time for me to go. Plain and simple as that. I'm leaving this body of Christ. I'm not leaving God. And unfortunately, that's what's happening. We're not leaving the church. You know, go back to our PSA this morning. You're not, this is church hurt at its finest. At its finest. But church hurt is not God. That's the pastor who was negligent in aiding you after the fall, or guilty in pushing you down the steps. That has nothing to do with God. So here's the question that's pretty much common. Well, why would God allow those things? We are living in a fallen world with the enemy being the prince of this world. There's a whole lot of things that God is allowing to happen just to see why we need him. I'm just going to stay right there. I'm going to stay right there. He must leave certain things in place. It's not until it gets that bad that we run for cover. It's not until it gets that bad that we realize that something's wrong. It's almost like when you're sick. So when you woke up on Monday and you had a little cough, that was all right. Tuesday, you had a cough and a headache. You can live with that. Wednesday or Thursday, you now have the cough, the headache, and body ache. And that's okay because you can live with it. But on that Friday, when you wake up and you got the throat ache, the headache, the body ache, and you feel like you get ready to die, now it's time to go to the emergency room. That's where we are as people in this world. Unless the pressure is put on, we ain't going nowhere. At least, we talked about this last night, at least factor. My throat hurts, but at least I can get up and I can go to work. I'm all right. At least, with my throat and my head hurting, I can still get up and I can cook a meal. At least while my throat hurts, my head hurts, and my body is aching, I can still kind of move around and get a few things done around the house. But when I wake up that final day and with the throat hurt, the head hurt, the body aches, and I feel like I'm going to die, I can't do nothing no more. Then the alarms start going off. There's no more at least. There's a realization that, hey, something is wrong. And that's one of the reasons why God leaves things in place. Because until we see the real condition of this world, until God shows you where you could really be, Shantice talks about this all the time. It is only God that keeps us from being the murderer. It's only God that keeps us from being the one who slaps somebody in the back of the head. It's only God who keeps us from having the thoughts but not following through with the thoughts. Because you have the Spirit of the Lord ringing its bell. Then, okay, you know what? Catch yourself. Get a grip. Slow down. Back up. Don't go over there. Don't take it that far. Only God keeps us from going there. So we look at the young man, 27 years old. Oh, my God. I'm so tired of seeing these young people just give their lives away. Just to give their lives away to the system. No matter how talented, gifted, intelligent you are, you just give your life away. Away and away and away. And it means nothing to you. He was so confused that he could not get out of his own way. That's why I said this reminded me so much of a few weeks ago when we talked about the pastor and the woman in Arkansas and Mississippi. They couldn't get out of their own way. He knew that he was behind the 8 ball, which is why he went to ChatGPT, because he can't tell anybody this, but ChatGPT, as Shanti said, thought they won't keep a secret. He's going to give ChatGPT is going to give you a way out. With all the inconsistencies, you really thought that there was a way out. You tried to clean up the mess. You tried to put pants on her so they wouldn't find the cuts on her legs. But they were going to undress her. They were going to investigate. They were going to pull you up out of that place and dig to the bottom to find out what actually happened. What in the world were you thinking? And here's the problem. We live in that at least moment. At least I ain't like that. I'd already have my thing together by the time the cops showed up. Because we're not that far, we think we're good. At least I ain't that, listen, how many times? I'm not a bad person. If I have to hear that one more time, oh my God. You know what? That says to me that you are bad. Because why we got to hear whether you feel you bad or not? Let God dictate whether you're bad or not. Let him speak on this thing. Forget about what you feel. And this is what we're talking about in regards to, are your hands clean? Was the pastor's hands clean? Whether he shoved her or whether he allowed her to stay at the foot of them steps, was his hands clean? Were his hands clean? Nice question. The answer is no. You didn't find it in your heart. You leading this whole body of people. And even with Gertrude getting on your ever-loving nerve because she is the one who's always pushing and making things difficult and always got her mouth in something, whether it's her family or not, whether it's her, her field or not. Stay in your lane. She can't. Even when Gertrude is the one who is just straight out of control, is the blood? Are your hands clean? This woman could have died falling down those stairs. And you showed no concern as to whether she lived or died. It's time for you to go. And if you do not go, I must leave. See, I've gotten to the point in my life, and this is not just now, but this is quite some time ago, when God was that important to me, I can't sit under anything. I can't sit under anything. I understood that there's a charge for me to find myself with like-minded people. There is no contingency on that. I don't see in the Bible anywhere where it says, but if you can't find a place where you like, you can stay home because I'm in your heart. I don't see that nowhere. I don't see that anywhere. I don't see if the church service does not go the way your old church services did, or the way you would prefer for the church services to go, you don't have to go. Stay home. With all the churches out here, if you are that intentional on being obedient to what God said, then you will find a church home. It might take you a minute, but as long as it's not for what Pastor KL said last night, this is why people church hop, because when they become exposed, now it's time to leave. We're not talking about those people, because you'll forever be migrating across the world. We're talking about those who truly want to find the Lord and understanding that there are just some bodies of Christ. There are just some churches there's just going to be a little too much there. It's understandable, but it can't be every church. It just can't be every church. And here's what I love. Here's what I loved last night when Pastor KL said, you're looking for a perfect church, but once you step in the church, it's no longer perfect. Oh my goodness. Amen. We don't think about how dirty our hands are, but we're looking for everybody else's hands to be spotless. Spotless. They must be clean. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. If you this, you that, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, I'm not expecting this to be there. It's just like the guy said this morning, it's church. I didn't expect that to come from the church. A church is nothing but a group of people who are just as lost as you are, trying to find God. And some people are just a little ahead of others. That's it. But we're all trying to find God. We should all be trying to make sure we find God in everything we do in our life until the day he closes our eyes. That journey and that searching will never stop. The Beatitude says, blessed are they who hunger and thirst after righteousness, which means you constantly chasing that thing. You're constantly going after that thing. You don't just accept God, now you're going to sit back and parlay. Oh, they told me I had to accept Christ. I did. I'm going to make it in the kingdom. I'm saved. No. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst after righteousness for his name's sake. Let people see you chasing him. Let people see that you're not going to stop until you find that next level of him. Not just him, but the next level. And when you find that level, you go to the next level. And when you find that level, you go to the next level. You just keep climbing in the Lord. You don't ever sit still, because you don't get comfortable there. Because you understand that God wants to take me to higher heights. So I can't afford to sit back. And when I see things such as what we described today, I'm going to stay there. Now I'm going to stay there in a church where half the church wants the pastor to leave and half the church wants the pastor to go. I've already assessed whether I want to be under a pastor like this or not. And no, I do not want to be under a pastor that will sit and watch his parishioner later for themselves. I'm sorry. Whether he pushed or not, I'm sorry. If that's your heart, then your heart can't be for me. I want y'all teaching Pastor KL. Your heart ain't for me. God forbid that was me at the bottom of the steps. With the way I'm made these days, oh, baby, I'd be paying for that fall for a long time. So when I have to stay home because now, I possibly need a hip replacement, or I'm so sore that I can't even budge and make it to the bathroom, that you never come and see about me. You never call and find out how I'm doing. You don't come and feed me. You don't come and read the Bible to me. You don't come and give me something to drink. You don't come and find out how I'm doing. Something's wrong. And you're not going to tell me you're going to do all of that. You're going to leave your house to do all of that. But yet you were standing right there and saw me at the foot of the steps. You didn't move. He didn't move one step. He didn't go down one step. The video showed him just standing there looking at her at the bottom of the steps. It's time for me to go. And that's what you need to be looking at. Where does God want you? You may have even outgrown that congregation. You may have even outgrown that church. Because especially if they're switching hands. Because not everybody switches hands and they go another level higher. Every round does not go higher and higher. And now they're now doing things that you now can't see any progression of the church. Then you know what? You better pay attention. You better pay attention. You better seek God as to, do you want me here? Maybe I've outgrown this church. You find some people who've been with church from the day they started to the day they die. I ain't mad at you. As long as they're giving you God. That's what you need to make sure of. So come on, there's a lot of things that we learned. We should have learned from today's episode. So many things that were said. Not just how to get away with murder. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping us do what we do. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship in the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Wow Wednesday. Until then, I love you.